This podcast was produced on the land of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation.
Welcome to Australia.
Aussie.
This is kind of tragic.
Someone who is such a connoisseur of reality television.
The content is hideous.
So sorry about this. Oh my God.
Welcome back to The Cringe is Real, the podcast that cringes along with Australian reality TV and pop culture at large. I'm Sam Cremian, and this week I'm joined by the lovely Paul Mizzi to roast the shit out of the penultimate episode of Drag Race Down Under Season 4. Drag Race Down Under Season 4 airs Fridays on Stan in Australia and WOW Presents Plus everywhere else, and I'll be recapping it each week with a special guest. Bonjour, Paul Mizzi. How you doing?
Bonjour. Good, thanks. How are you?
Look, I'm okay. As I've discussed, I'm horrendously jet lagged, but enjoying my lovely time here in Casablanca, Morocco.
The last time that one of us was away and we dialed in for one of these episodes, I was in Roxby Downs, and this time you're in Casablanca. Much more fabulous.
I don't know which is more exotic. Yeah. Yeah, I'm retracing the steps of Alex McCord to find justice for the unaired tapes of Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip season lost.
I've heard about these mythical episodes.
One day we may be able to tell our grandchildren about such things, but, you know, we can only hope. Hey, what's got you cringing?
So what's got me cringing is a new film out at the cinemas at the moment called Craven the Hunter. Have you heard of this film?
I have. I've seen a small thirsty trailer of sexy man Aaron Taylor Johnson. Is that his name?
Yeah, Aaron Taylor Johnson. This man is it's ridiculous that he exists.
He gets hotter so incredibly as well. Hot. Every time I see him, I'm like, what the fuck? He's not a real person. He's AI, right?
Yeah. Especially, have you seen his dick before?
Oh, yeah. Every frame.
He's like, it's not fair that someone looks like that and it's also like hung like an actual horse. It's
and the
ridiculous.
Fact that he's happy to whip it out in a film.
Yeah.
I love that.
Directed by his wife that's double his age.
Yeah, he's great.
But anyway, so his new movie Craven is like the latest in like the Sony Spider-Man without Spider-Man universe, and the last one was Madam Web, which obviously gave all the gays life. Yeah. Morbius, Madam Web, and now this. Like,
did you see Morbius?
Hit after hit.
That was a
I didn't.
pass from me. Hard pass.
Yeah.
At least Madam Web was kind of camp and tragic, but that one I was like, nah, soz.
Yeah. I actually really enjoyed Madam Web for the trash heap it was. You know, it gave us like a fight scene set to Britney Spears' Toxic, so I can't be completely angry with it. I
can't believe that was this year.
Yeah, I know. No, this is 2024, man. So we've bookended the year with Madam Web and this. And, you know, Aaron Taylor Johnson, stunning human being. He said in an interview he didn't eat carbs for 2 years to get into shape for this role. All the marketing has been centered around his abs. And when I tell you, you only see them for tops 30 seconds in this entire fucking movie. He is wearing a t-shirt for most of this film when his comic book equivalent always has his abs out. So they had an excuse to just have him shirtless the whole film. Didn't take it. What the fuck? Like, if you're going to have a script this bad...
The far right have gone too far.
I know.
They are, you know, first they're, you know, banning drag, taking away our freedoms as queer people, and now this. It's actually disgusting.
Yeah, I am so angry. But yeah, the movie's a bore. There's a lot of hot people in it, but it's not sexy. Yeah, Ariana DeBose is in it.
That's Hollywood though. Like, sexiest people ever, and then they're just kind of there, not doing a whole lot.
Yeah. Ariana DeBose doesn't even get to rap about Angela Bassett once. It's just... It's actually a crime against the gays, this film. So, God. I would say avoid. Okay. Definitely avoid.
Well, look, there was very little chance of me getting involved in that one, but now it's a hard no.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of a crime against the gays, you may recall the first podcast we did together for the Love of
Uh-huh.
DILFs.
Oh,
Was it
yes.
season 2 we did? Yeah, we did season 2
Yeah.
with
Mhm.
iconic characters, those twins that were
Yeah,
like,
yeah, with
my baby. So it's back.
That's so good.
Stormy
I
Daniels is
heard this.
back, baby. And I don't know where the fuck they find these people, but they have done it again. And they have found probably, yeah, even more. It's like they get the most unhinged, like unstable people. There is no HR department on this show. There is no well-being checks.
Which
It's
we
probably
love.
just, which we love. It's probably Stormy. Stormy just occasionally rocks up and she's like, "How's everyone going?" But oh, it's only 3 episodes in, and we've already got daddies fighting over himbos, himbos fighting over daddies. There's already been someone medically evacuated from the game because they face plant into the concrete during like the first challenge. Like this show is
Oh my
cursed.
god. That sounds amazing. I have to watch this.
It's
I have to catch
holiday viewing. The other thing that I watched on the plane over here, because it felt
up.
correct, was Love is Blind Habibi. Have you seen this show?
Okay. No.
Have you seen any of the Love is Blinds?
No,
I feel
I've
like it's
got
up
friends that are
your
obsessed
alley.
with them.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like I should probably watch this franchise.
This was my introduction to it. I've never really
Mhm.
gone. I mean, I've seen the trailers and I'm like, Netflix reality for me is a little bit whatever.
Yeah.
But this one, particularly, it's something about just, yeah, Arabic culture finally dipping its toes into like mainstream reality television
Yeah.
that is chaotic and concerning at the same time. But it's like I'm only halfway through it, but I
Mhm.
can see why the internet is kind of losing it for this show because there is a lot of, yeah, the way these men get possessive over these women is like next level.
Mm.
Yeah, plus I love they speak in kind of like mostly English and then like occasionally Arabic and then like a bit of both and then except for when they fight and then all of a sudden they start speaking French. It's like there's two men two men are like fighting over this woman at the beach and and then the rest of them are just like I don't know because there's this one Moroccan guy and he's just getting into it and then the rest of them are just like what is going on? They're like all of a sudden out of it. But yeah, highly recommend that one. Some great
Okay, I'll
plastic
look out for
surgery
it.
as well.
Yeah, amazing. I'm guessing zero queer representation in that one.
Oh, honey, it's yeah. I'm surprised you even get like some elbow. There's
Oh
there's
wow.
actually some very sexy men on this show, but they're all like,
Mhm.
they're all like dentists and shit, and they fucking like
Mm.
have so much gel going on. It's yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit gross. But
I've been dipping my toes into some Netflix reality. One of my main obsessions at the moment. Queer Eye has come back for its
that's right.
ninth season.
You're the only person I know that's still on board the Queer Eye train, and I love it. I
Yeah.
love that journey for you.
I love like Queer Eye is so special to me. Like I've watched every iteration of this show, the German and the Brazilian iterations as well. I just love this concept. It's just so wholesome and it gets me every time. Like I'm ugly crying. Like literally like half an hour ago, I was in full on tears before I started this
Oh my god,
episode.
what happened?
It's just it was so beautiful. They made over this lady. She's come out of like an abusive relationship and she was living in homeless shelters and they gave her a home and gave her a makeover and it was
my
just
God.
so beautiful. Like it just
Has she
it
come
just
from
gets
Love
me.
is Blind Habibi?
Yeah. Yeah, she got kicked off that show and now they've made her over. Yeah, I just love this show, and I know like a lot of it's not cool to like it anymore, and everyone hates JVN.
Whatever.
But, you know,
What did JVN do? Is it just like an Ellen situation where people are just like they're like a monster? Because with that, I'm like
Yeah.
I'm gonna need some like details.
Yeah, I need some receipts. If he was really a monster on these sets, like someone would have taken a video or
but
something.
Also, like, is not everyone a monster on these sets? Like, I'm kind of like, come on.
Yeah, and they do a lot in a week. Like, I can understand why it would be stressful. So, you know, I'm going to
something hateable about someone that is just that comfortable with themselves. It's like, that's not fair.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, they've gone through so much in their life, you know, HIV positive and like the upbringing that they've had, like, you know, just let them be happy. Like, come on.
I think it could be hair envy. But I mean, it's also, I feel like where there is smoke, there is most usually fire. But it's like, I just want to know how bad it is because I'm sure it's not that bad.
Yeah. But like, so many of these shows, like you hear about, like my house was given a makeover and then it fell apart a year later, or like the good thing about Queer Eye is that like they keep in touch with the people and make sure their lives are still on track and they actually look after the people. They don't just abandon them. So I feel a lot better about this show than so many. They check in. Okay. Yeah, and like that, even like, you know, like one of the people on, I think either last season before, became like their personal trainer. Like they just like, they really take on board these people. It's not just like, we're going to use you for a TV show and just throw you in the bin. Like I feel a bit more morally like that I can stand by Queer Eye, and I hope that stays the case.
Didn't they like come to Australia just to go to like the town of Yass, which is like near Canberra, to like redo like a pub?
No, they did make over a guy.
Oh, they did a guy. Oh, I thought it was just
yeah. Yeah, they did an episode on the guy, but that episode's not on Netflix. It's only on YouTube, but you can watch it. Yeah.
Have they checked in on him? Is he okay?
That one I don't know.
Canberra. Can confirm. Oh my god. So, should we get into the reason for this season?
Absolutely, I'm excited.
Drag Race Down Under, season 4. We're almost at the end, Paul.
I know, what a journey.
It's such a bummer that the Down Under season's always 8 episodes long. I don't feel it's enough.
I think everything about Drag Race Down Under is too short. The episode lengths are too short. The episode amounts are too short, and the stage and workrooms are too short.
I know. It's like they almost gave it to us, and then they're like, "Do you know what?
Yeah.
Nah."
Yeah.
Just have a
and
little
we'll
bit.
get into it.
You don't need it.
Yeah, and I think this is an episode that definitely was a victim of that, giving us a roast and then not giving us the time to actually see the roast in full. I really felt that this episode.
Well, that's the other thing. So there's like no mini challenge this episode. They're what, like an hour long? And then they somehow managed to cut down the roast. I think we got, like, especially Lazy's stuff. I feel like they're trying so hard not to just like consistently make Lazy look fabulous and like the front runner, because she so obviously is, that they're like, oh no, she was all right. I'm like, no, she fucking killed that, and you just cut it.
Like, they had two options in this episode. It's either make the episode longer or cut out the bit about American gun violence in the Australian drag race to give us a bit more time with the roast.
Can we just say that was the most meh discussion about gun violence? It was like, Freya was like, I heard about gun violence and was potentially around a gun at some point, but like, there was no traumatic event. So I'm like, honey, I'm going to need like a full story about you being involved in some sort of heist. For that to stay in it.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, do they understand what we're watching for? We want to watch the fucking roast and the runways. Just give us those two things in full.
Destroy these girls.
Yeah.
Oh my god. All right. But season wide so far, you're loving it, right?
Oh, I mean, this is Lazy Susan's season. She has made this season. And, you know, going on to her Instagram presence as well as like a whole. I view the season as a whole, including her content.
Oh yeah.
It's just head and shoulders above all the other seasons by far. And
her
Michelle even
content
says it this episode.
Yeah, she does. Her content is higher quality than parts of the show, let's be real. And
100%.
certainly more creative. Don't even
100%.
I'm still recovering from last week's acting or audition challenge, whatever the fuck that was. We were robbed of a whole episode. And the only thing carrying this season is the cast. They are working so hard. They're working overtime to correct the shortcomings of the writing, of the production. And look, I don't want to like smear the production. I'm so happy for this show to exist. I'm so thankful for it. It's fantastic. It's giving drag culture in Australia and New Zealand this platform that's never had before. We love it. So I'm not here to like tell, you know, the people behind the scenes that they fucked it up. But come on, that challenge, I'm like,
I felt your anger. I was listening to that episode and I was with you. Your lovely co-host seemed a bit more forgiving, but I was right there with you. Like, because when I was watching it, I was like, what even am I watching? I don't understand this. Like, I don't understand what's part of the challenge, what isn't. This isn't funny. This isn't entertaining. And it was right there. Like, you could have made this so good. Anyway,
are you on board with my conspiracy theory that Rhys has checked out a little bit?
I kind of see it. Yeah. I just don't understand, like, and they even make reference to it in the roast, like, why not replace him with Joel Creasy every couple of episodes? Like, I mean, they're our two queer comedians, like the main ones. Yeah.
Yeah, look, they could have done a duo. I honestly think that was a budgeting choice, because there was so many rumors that Joel was like waiting in the wings, or it was like, you know, it was like the final stage of the interview process where they're like, it's between you and one other candidate. We're just checking references. I think they got to that stage and then they were like, oh, Rhys is cheaper.
Yeah.
As is this shed in Auckland.
Yeah.
Choices were made, Paul. Choices were made. All right, so let's start this episode. Episode 7. It's called The Rhys Roast. And we're getting a roast. They've done a roast before on this show, haven't they? It's not for a while.
I can't recall them, but maybe.
Certainly not a memorable one.
It's funny because they do some flashbacks to like earlier seasons in this episode, and I was like, I don't remember any of this. It's just like left my brain.
The trauma. All right, so we start in the workroom post elimination, and you know, there's some mixed feelings about Max, drag queen, leaving the show. The girls definitely commend her efforts, especially the circumstances. Like, I think going on a show like this so soon after the death of a parent, and she's very young as well, is pretty incredible. So I think she did an amazing job, and they kind of, without so many words, acknowledge that.
Yeah, no, I love Max, and she did great.
She did so well. She should be very proud of her efforts on the show. Nikita's wiping off the lipstick, and Moobs is like, you're getting good at that, Nikita. And she's like, I only done it twice, bitch. Nikita is heaven. The way she is just like, could not give a fuck that she is on this show. Like, she's just, you can just tell she's just like this in real life. Don't you reckon?
Yeah, 100%. And like, and her energy, like, she hasn't given us, you know, a winner's, you know, track record on this show by far. Like, there's been a lot of flops. There's been a lot of, you know, stuff that's probably not up to the standard of everyone else, but personality wise, people will leave this show loving Nikita, and she will be booked and blessed. So
absolutely.
I think this is what, you know, what the show could give her, it's going to give her.
And I'm so glad they saw that as well and kept her in for as long as they did, because they just as easily could have gone, you know, the look, even week 1, where it was the side-by-side looks in the orange dress, and she wore this, like, you know, fishnet
bikini
dress bikini thing. But the way she served it and her attitude about it, she was like, no, 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 I'm everything and you are going to eat this up. And we did. And I was just like, I love this bitch. Like, yeah, I'm really glad
Yeah,
she
same.
made it this far. Freya is edging. She's like, I'm almost at the top, guys. And I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah, I think someone asked her, like, what do you enjoy most, edging or bottoming?
It was Lazy. Lazy goes, what's better, edging or bottoming? And she's like, can I have both? Very good. Nikita is the last Kiwi girly. So we get a little microsecond of that. This is the bit I'm like, I'm watching the editors. If they put someone in this part talking about themselves, I'm like, they're going home.
Yeah.
It's a new day in the workroom, and the top 5 enter. They're all still very sad to see Max leave. Lazy calls it a giant gaping hole, which is the first of many hole jokes this episode.
Yeah, love it.
Mandy, she's putting the baby from last week up for adoption. She's like, gave it a red hot go dressing myself as a baby last week, but look, didn't really work out. How are you feeling?
I thought the baby was I thought the baby was funny compared to some of the other stuff we were shown in that challenge. But again, it was hard to know what we were even looking at in that challenge. So
absolutely, she gave it a swing. I agree. It's like if I was given those parameters of that challenge, I would have done like what Moobs and Lazy did, where I'd just like go, okay, cool, I'm gonna do something else. This is shit. I'm gonna just do a bit. I'm gonna do a little bit on this bed, and the cameras are gonna be on. Yeah, exactly. I gotta say, in this scene, I was like, the girls are looking tired. I'm assuming it's like, back-to-back days, probably no days off.
Yeah.
They're looking a bit, ready to get out of there.
Well, when Max got eliminated, they actually looked like they just wanted to go to bed.
Oh,
relieved, just wanted they were going to go home and going to be able to sleep.
Absolutely. Vibe comes up with the acronym ABL, anyone but lazy, which is fucking hilarious. And I love, and this has been a theme this whole season where the girls are like, we're in a reality TV world now, so they're kind of self-producing a bit, and they're like, we're just going to manifest that Lazy does not win this week. And if we say that, they can't, for story reasons, give Lazy a win. I was cackling. They're like, Lazy's not winning this week. Lazy's not winning this week. Like an incantation.
I think this is such an Aussie thing, though. Like, imagine them doing this on Canada's Drag Race. That person that they would be chanting about would be in tears and having a confessional and talking about how they're being bullied. Like,
they would.
Yeah, we're just so chill and we get the joke.
We are so chill. There's a few more moments this episode that we'll get to where I'm like, this could only happen on this version of the show.
Yeah.
The way they're sort of not taking it that seriously. Yeah, I think, in Canada's Drag Race, these moments where they're around the workroom, like the table at the start, I find them really hard to watch because it's like they're all trying to present themselves in this way to each other, but it's like, it doesn't feel genuine. I don't know what it is, but they're not having fun. It's like competition is serious.
Yeah, I think that is what you got it exactly right. They're playing a character on Canada, and this is who these people genuinely are on the Aussie one, because we know that that's what's going to resonate with people. Just being yourself, having a laugh.
Plus, these group of people are friends. Like, you can tell, and it is so nice to see. Like, really, really nice to see. I mean, this whole season, there's not really been a like genuine beef between anyone. And normally that's why I love these shows, right? But for some reason, I think it's because it's like the drag community and, we know lots of these people on this season. So it's like, it's nice to see them having a good time. season 1 of this show, no one had a good time, and you could tell.
Yeah. I think also the pleasure of this season has been seeing everyone bring their creativity and to our screens. Like, they've had something to showcase. If you don't have that, then yes, we want the drama because that's what we're coming here for. But when you're actually showing us something exciting, like creativity that's exciting, it makes the show worth watching. So
Exactly.
I think that's the big difference.
Yeah, it's almost like a different angle this time. They've gone for like, oh, we'll just actually showcase the talent in this cast, and we're not going to go for beefs and rivalries. And yeah, like they tried that before, like the Aussie girls versus the Kiwi girls or whatever. But yeah, to not focus on that this time has been a delight. Hello. Michelle enters the workroom, and I love this day. I'll go, "Good morning, Miss Visage." Felt very Australian primary school.
Yeah.
And she says, this week we're roasting Rhys. And they're like, great. Vibe says she is in for a solo win this week. She's again telling us and the cameras exactly what's going to happen. I like Vibe speaks sometimes like she's holding a tiny gun, like pointing at you in this way where it's like, shut up and listen to me. And it's heaven. And I love she says this line, and it's the most Sydney drag thing ever. She goes, I'm going for a solo win this week, and I'm willing to shit on a bitch to do it.
So good. Again, only in Australia.
Shit on a bitch. I was like, oh, so good. Lazy, as the winner of last week, gets to pick the running order for the roast. And again, this is often, I find on the UK version of this show, this is usually a big point of contention and everyone gets very upset about it. Whereas not the case at all for this time. But I do like that she creates some suspense. She's like, I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to do it later and I'm going to think about it. But you can all tell me, where you'd like to go and I'll consider it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was very, very funny.
Yeah.
Do you think that the order actually does, I don't know, contribute to anything, or like, what are your thoughts on the running order?
We'll get to it later this episode, but like they actually did reference it in the judging. I think I can't remember the last time that's happened, or if that's ever happened before, where they've like directly attributed the running order to what they were going to judge the people with. So maybe it does matter more than we think.
You're right. All right, so they whip out their notebooks. Nikita is telling us this is not her thing. She's not in her comfort zone. Lazy, however, loves a roast, but she's conscious that, she didn't do great in the reading mini challenge. So she wants to prove that she is a hateful bitch and she can, in fact, deliver some sting, which is great. Then we get the little practice moment on stage with Ketamine. You happy to see her back on your screen?
Yeah. She's always a fun presence. Her and her teeth that don't fit in her mouth properly, so she can't speak. It's say, nobody mentioned in the roast. So
no.
Yeah. So
there's some other reasons. She's so good. Like, I got to say, like, she's getting better with time, I think. I don't know, like, at the time, we were all a bit like, what? Everyone was like, she's Stephen Bradbury'd or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, she was a really deserving winner. I love her unhinged, like, terrifying clown angle on drag. I think she's very funny, very quick. Her and Anita are a great duo. They work really well as hosts together. Like, I think it's, I'm into it. Vibe is up first, and this is such a non-event. She comes out, she tells her jokes, and they're just like, yep, you got this. It's like no notes, pretty much.
Yeah.
Freya does a few, and she's got some good material. It's just more zing. Michelle says it's a zing, not a stab. She's like, don't play it safe, go in.
Yeah.
Which I like. I've been picking up on this Michelle Freya thing. I think Michelle really loves Freya. She sees potential, or I don't know, it could be because they're both American. I don't know, but have you noticed this too? Like Michelle really has a soft spot for Freya.
Yeah, definitely. It's reflected in the judging and the way that she speaks to her when she's on the main stage. Yeah, there's something there.
It's nice though. Like I enjoy watching it because Freya is like so sweet, and you do just want to protect her and give her a cuddle. So it's like I think Michelle is being motherly. So she gives her some good advice. She's like, everything you've got is good. Just go harder, be shadier. Moobs. Keita is not convinced because she comes out and the first thing she says is, "Oh, I hate this." She's like, which is, look, I applaud her honesty. She comes out and she goes, "Yeah, this was the one thing I really didn't want to do." Which I'm kind of like, I get it, because it's really hard. This is a really hard thing to do, especially if you're not a comedy person. And Moobs is the seamstress. She's not a funny girly. You know, she is naturally really funny because she can make fun of herself in terms of like, you know, her kinks, and we've been having fun with that on the pod all season, and I love it. But like when she has to come up with the jokes, I think that's a struggle for her.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't feeling it with the material she brought. But yeah, I do agree. She is one of the most consistently entertaining people on this show.
Absolutely.
She just needs to work out how to translate it into something like this.
Yeah, because she's like, she starts telling all these hole jokes, which is really funny. She's like, "Oh, you know, speaking of gaping holes and blah, blah, blah." And then Keita's like, "Look, you don't need to do a whole 2 minutes on gaping holes." And then Mandy goes, "Yeah, but I could." And I was like, "That's funny."
Yeah, I actually wouldn't mind a whole set about gaping holes. I think if you're gonna like do it, just like fucking go for it.
Yeah,
but
it would be memorable.
But you know, Michelle, I think, brought up in this moment as well about this line that she has. You know, like what's appropriate for Drag Race, or what is the standard for Drag Race humor, which I know you've talked about this previously. I just don't get. Like, just be filthy, just be dirty. These are drag queens. Like, they're not children's entertainers. Let them be as filthy as they want to be. Like, it's an MA-rated show. You can do whatever you want. You can say, they say cunt all the time. Why can't they talk about gaping holes for 3 minutes? Like,
well, I personally blame Nina West and the phrase "drag is for everybody."
Yeah,
because actually it's not. But anyway, Nikita comes out and she's like, and look, I get what she was trying to do. She's like, I'm going to do ballroom, because ballroom culture does have a roasty, like sassy thing going on where they kind of like, you know, read each other down. You know, this is where all this stuff originated. You know, the library's open. Reading is what? That all came from this culture, right? But they do it in this really like kind of elegant, sassy way that I think Nikita like has the look of that down, but not quite the like performance chops or something. What do you think?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's an intrinsically funny idea to do this. Like, people that have done characters and won in the past have brought really funny characters to this. So if you're not going to be playing yourself, make sure that character you're playing is funny in its own right without even having to say the jokes. Like
Jimbo doing Joan Rivers, or Georges coming out as like a dude that I love.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's just funny. Like, she just had to walk out in that dude outfit and everyone was already laughing. So
yeah, but for some reason I don't think she thought she was doing a character. I think she thought she was being Nikita in the ballroom having a little kick at a car with the girls. But it's like, I don't know, for that I think you need the whole space to be about that. And you need the soundtrack. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I think there's like some other elements. You can't really just do that on cue. It's a yeah.
And I think the vibe for a roast is like joke, 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 joke. And we see it time again. People that have too long of a setup to get to where they're going are always on the bottom. So if you have to like create a character and pretend you're in a ballroom and set that up and then talk about things that aren't actually funny to get to the jokes, you're always going to end up in the bottom.
True, because you're missing the brief of
Yeah.
come out, annihilate, tell some jokes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lazy comes out and she's like, look, this is what I do. Fully acknowledge I didn't nail it last time in the reads, but I'm here to redeem myself pretty much. She's like, this is what I do with my sisters. And can I say, like, you know, having followed Lazy's career for some time, she is really fucking good at this. And like,
Yeah.
naturally off the cuff as a host, she's always got very funny, very cutting things to say, but she always kind of like, I don't know, stays within that realm of like, it's humor. It never sort of dips into that offensive space. So she's very clever at doing that. She is going to go first. So we get a little glimpse into the running order before she's told the girls, because Rhys and, oh no, it's not Rhys, it's Keita and Michelle. They're like, oh, so where are you going to put yourself? And she's like, well, I'm going to go first and I'm going to stay as far away from possible with vibe, which at this point I was like, ooh, that is not a good idea. You're giving her the last laugh, the memorable spot, and then also you're going to be so far back. But she's making the show as good as it possibly can be, because she's putting the strongest people at the start and the end. What did you think about this choice?
I think it is a smart choice to go first, because we've seen it happen before where people have had each other's jokes, and whoever's the lucky one that gets to say it first is the one that gets the laugh. So I think, just for that risk of having other people steal your jokes, the first place is a strategic place to be, I feel. But maybe moving vibe in the middle might have served her better.
True. The other thing with that though is like, I get the strategy, but Lazy's brain and her content is so unique anyway. Like, do you really think, and everyone else's style is so different from hers, I doubt anyone would have had the same jokes as her, because they're not the run of the mill. They're not your joke book like, Rhys is so old. Oh, how old is she? Like, it's none of that shit. So it's like, I don't know, maybe the thought that someone could pinch. But then actually Mandy did steal a Lazy joke that she just made in the workroom. So maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Back in the workroom, Lazy reveals the order to the girls and they're all thrilled. Vibe's thrilled, but then she's also like, I mean, thanks for putting me last and everything, but I was going to slay no matter where you put me. All right, it's elimination day, and Vibe says she loves a roast because it matches Australian humour. We get a little discussion here about the use of the C word in Australia, which is funny because last week when we had a little screening party with some friends, I invited some Americans along. And we had this exact same discussion because they were talking about how they've dipped their toes in at this season and now they're going back and watching all of Down Under. Yeah. And they're like, oh my God, just the flippant use of this word. And then also because they've just moved here, they've noticed people saying it out and about. And we were like, yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah, it's our culture. Embrace it or go home.
Yeah, can't. So then this turns quickly to, what else is different between America and Australia? Oh, guns. And we have a lovely discussion here about guns that, left me a little bit, like, I thought it was a nice thing because we don't normally on this show celebrate a good thing about what's going
Australia.
on down here. Yeah, we
Yeah.
normally, I mean, in the past they've had discussions about, I don't know, racism and things like that, which are absolutely important to talk about and are absolutely true and prevalent in our culture. But it was nice to have a little pivot to like, oh, you know, there was that shooting and then
Yeah.
we got rid of guns.
Yeah, I don't know. As I was saying earlier, like I'd be a bit more tolerant of this discussion if they didn't rip the roast to shreds in the editing room. Like, yeah, like when you reflect back on the episode, what would we rather watched? I would have rather seen every joke that every queen had to bring to the roast. But I guess they have their reasoning.
Well. Yeah, I did love as well just Freya being like, oh my God, I'm so glad I got out of there. Like she left this war-torn country. She's like, oh, when we moved to Australia, I was like, thank fuck, like get me out of this disgusting hellhole. I thought that was kind of funny. And I think American viewers are going to be really either like confronted or confused by that.
But it's so funny because I have some American friends that I've had that exact same discussion with. They're like, I would never go back. What a shithole. Like, it's not, I don't think it's a individual take that Freya had. I think a lot of people that have managed to get to Australia have thought the same thing.
Yeah. And I mean, look, it's a very different culture. But I think, yeah, a lot of Americans in America just assume that it's the best place in the world and, you know, land of the free and all that. So it's kind of funny. Yeah, the enlightened know what's going on. But then Freya, and look, I will feel terrible if there was something I missed here, but I felt like Freya was like going for this discussion about a personal experience, but then I feel like it was just like a drill at school or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there was no context. Yeah, Freya was saying like they had to go under their desk. But there was no context of it. Was it a drill? Did it happen? Or are you referring to other people that this has happened to? Like again, the editing was a bit, I had no idea what was actually being talked about.
And then out of nowhere, jump scare, Maxi Shield enters the workroom and I died.
What was the point of this?
Oh, I do not care. I fucking love this woman. When she entered, I was like, yes, we get some Maxi and those titties back on our screen. But it was so strange. And especially after this, whiplash from this gun control discussion. And then it's like, Maxi Shield. And she's there with the buzzies out. And we get this very strangely edited flashback that lasts longer than her actual appearance on the show.
Yeah.
Of like her in season 1.
Yeah.
And I love this. And then Vibe's face, just, this was heaven. Because they're mates. Like,
they're
big, they're part of the same scene in Sydney. She looked so happy and so just like primed and poised to like kill this challenge.
Do you think they actually flew out Maxi to New Zealand for this 1 minute cameo?
I reckon.
Because that's wild. That's a wild choice to make.
Yeah, because she'd been at Mardi Gras. Why would she just be there randomly? I reckon,
Yeah.
And her voice, this was so iconic. Her voice was like fucked because she'd been fresh from Mardi Gras. This is the other homophobic part of this production of this show. They always film it like around Mardi Gras, which is just like, come on, give the girls a break. Like that's one of their biggest earning periods. Also, they're like busy, so they're not able to like pack for the show. And I've always found that really offensive. And it's just rude being like, I don't care. But she's got this husky voice, like she's just fucking chain smoked 70 cigarettes out the back. She's like, oh yeah, look girls, sorry, I've just come from Mardi Gras. And Lacey goes, so I heard you took Ariel's voice.
that was fantastic.
She's in all purple.
Yeah.
Heaven. And then Lacey's like, why don't you go ahead and roast your season 1 sisters for us right now? And Maxi's like, yeah, nah, Reddit's already done that.
Very clever. I like that.
I liked it a lot. Very true. And then it's like, I'll see you, Maxi. Bye.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
she's like,
Strange
you got-
choice. Why not put her on the panel? Like, there's room for another chair there. Just shove her in.
Yeah, it's like how they had Hannah last week, and then she just sort of popped in. I'm kind of into it. It's really added a lot this season, having all these returning queens come back. It like adds to the like lore of the show, and I don't know, it makes it feel a bit more considered or something. I'm enjoying it. On the main stage, we get Keita and Anita, and Michelle Visage looking stunning with her hair slicked back in this sort of sparkly dress. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think though the dress kind of gave me crafty. Like, let's just do a whole bunch
Not
of
the C word, Paul Mizzi.
Yeah, I mean, and
The
I'm only
more
saying that
offensive
because
C word.
she has accused many people of that in the past, and I'm gonna bring it back down to her because that just looked like a sparkly dress that she just glued a whole bunch of stars onto.
It was
But-
giving Christmas tree. Those
Yeah.
stars down the bottom. I was like, okay.
Yeah, but the face was immaculate.
She looked great. I really liked Rhys's precious brooch of like
Of
Sydney
the
Harbour.
harbour. Yeah.
Yeah. Looked a bit
It's cute.
kendo or something. I was into it. I like Rhys's like kitsch Australiana aesthetic, but it's like only a little bit. It's actually Rhys has always been very fashionable. Keita and Anita also look stunning. I love we get Anita walking down the runway so we can see those shoes. Did you clock those shoes?
I didn't. What were they?
Oh my god! When you go back
Okay.
and look at those shoes, it was like ball gown and then like slippers that were like animal feet, like where the
What?
wild things are, like paws.
Did that
Great.
make sense? Like, was there
It-
anything
you would-
animal about the rest of it, or
No, it was absolutely like this is why I love this bitch. Like she's so
Yeah.
cooked. She's like, I could wear a heel or I could wear these like fucking
animal slippers?
paws. Unless I was high and completely imagined that. Pretty
Yeah.
sure she was wearing those shoes. All right, let's get into this roast. So, Lazy's up first, and it's very. So she's wearing this just like little what?
Yellow
Boiler-
jumpsuit.
Yeah, jumpsuit, which is like very
Yeah.
traditional lazy drag. I'm glad she got a chance to whip something like that out because this is the only opportunity to do that, right? To
Yeah.
wear something on the runway that's like not Stunalina.
Yeah.
And this is true to her brand, all yellow. I like this. She's like the tradition of roasting started with you, Rhys, from genetics. It was a very good opener. The more people will read you tonight than your book was great, and Rhys really liked that one. Then what else was there? Oh, she calls Anita the Julian Assange of drag.
Yeah, that was great.
She's like, they tried to send you home from 2 continents. That was good. But then that was kind of it.
Yeah. Also, I feel like the show made the jokes seem more muted than they actually were because there was no crowd and the sound design, like you could hear the air conditioning in the background. Like it was very, it wasn't doing the jokes any favors. And like, why couldn't they have whipped together a crowd? Like all the other franchises usually do it for the roast. Even though I do have a problem because a lot of like, especially in the US and the UK one, the crowd that they bring there seem like a whole bunch of straight couples that have no idea who any of these drag queens are. It's like,
Or what's going on.
yeah, like why would they even find any of this funny? But like just get a whole bunch of faggots and put them in there and it would it would bring the atmosphere up so much.
Oh my God, just walk into the gay bar and be like, oi,
Yeah, exactly.
Michelle's filming the roast. Get your butts in. Totally. Yeah, it would add to the vibe of it being a live show. I know as well, you know, as a performer, like you do respond to energy from the crowd. So it's kind of like not having that there. And yes, they've been very, or they've all been really good at performing for the cameras this whole time, but it does just kind of like yeah, I reckon it ramps it up a notch.
But that being said, I laughed at all of Lazy's jokes that they gave us. As
They were all
truncated as the editing of it was, and obviously there was a whole bunch cut out, but for what we saw, they were all hits.
And again, it's like this episode is long, so the fact that we got 3 or 4 jokes max, I was like, fucking hell. Anyway, Nikita comes out next, and yeah, she's sort of, it's a shaky start. She's like already kind of lecturing the room about ballroom terms, which I was like, not the assignment, but sure. She's like, it's a dip, not a death drop. I'm like, okay, thank you for the informative lesson on ballroom vocabulary, but also
not what we
tell us that Rhys looks shit. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
a bit of a
every single thing that you say has to end in a joke. So if she was talking about the difference between a dip and a death drop, end with a punchline. Like, it's all good to do that.
Exactly. The punchline could have been that Rhys is so white, like, of course he doesn't know that. Like, she should have gone for the, like, race card angle. I think Queen Kong does this really well, like, in her jokes. I don't know if you've seen her live much, but yeah, she will just, like, tell the crowd that they're all white and boring and stuff. But it's, like, with love and it's kind of funny. She could have done that.
Yeah.
She did make one funny joke about excess skin. It was it was like, oh, Keita, because Keita's had like this weight loss thing. She had like lap band surgery or whatever, which is low hanging fruit. So I'm glad someone went there. And she's like, oh, your excess skin is here. Anita Wiglet. Like, that's really funny.
Yeah, that was good.
And then she tries to do the kind of voguing style, like rhyme reads.
Yeah.
Which A for effort, like, great concept, but just, yeah. She didn't land the plane. Freya Armani. Looking good. I thought she looked better in this roast outfit than her runway later, but we'll get to that. She always looks amazing.
Yeah.
She's so beautiful. I liked her Polly joke. She was like, oh, you said you were Polly, and Nikita was like, which island? Oh, that was good. And like, joke. You know, localized humor. What else did she add? Oh, she had the I like this one. She's like, vibe is so ethnically ambiguous. She looks like Jennifer Coolidge and Kim Jong-un at the same time. That was good.
Yeah, that was a good one.
What else did she say? She said something about RuPaul not being there, which someone had to do. Like, RuPaul doesn't even want to be here. Something like that. It was solid, but I did think that they were trying to tell us that it was better than it was.
Yeah.
Because they were well written, but like not particularly delivered well or something.
Yeah, I didn't really laugh as much as what I did in Lazy's, for sure.
Yeah, but I think it's more story-wise that she wasn't sure about it, and then she delivered something better than we expected. It's always a good strategy on this show. She had a good bit about like Rhys being a twink, and like you could swap him out for Max. You wouldn't tell the difference. And then
Rhys actually saw that as a compliment.
To Max Drag Queen is such a compliment.
Happy with that one.
She's so beautiful. Moobs was next. I was the most excited about seeing how Moobs was going to go, because I'm like, this can really go either way. What did you think?
I mean, it just wasn't funny. And I mean, like, maybe in the edit, like maybe they just chose to take out the funny stuff. I wouldn't be surprised, but from what we saw, it just wasn't funny.
Well, she came out and
she looked like she was having a miserable time.
I know, the poor thing. It was a bit lamb to the slaughter. She did come out and she was like, oh, you know, I'm partial to a bit of a spit roast. And we're like, we know. We know. She didn't have like a commanding presence, but to know that she was really bricking it that whole time, I think the fact that she delivered something and didn't, you know, cry and run off stage was like a plus. And she
Yeah.
had a few. I mean, yeah, it was flopperama at the start, and then she kind of brought it back with a few near the end. But overall, unfortunately, I think the little inner Sabo got her this week. Then we end with Vibe, who is just like a machine gun and comes out and just, does exactly what you were hoping for. Keep starting with Keita means underbite. Amazing. And just, she just went straight in. It was like, Keita mean, oh, your underbite's here too. Anita Wiglet. No, it's Anita Nose Job. Oh, I need a husband. Like, just fully. Yeah. It was the cadence of them.
Yeah, she knows how a roast is supposed to sound. She knows how it's supposed to be paced, and delivered it.
Yeah, it makes me want to, take the next flight to Sydney and just go and see her host a regular night out, because you know that it's just going to be so much fun, and that you'd be just not stand near the front kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, the MC was good. She's like, Rhys, you're such a good MC. And that stands for malnourished child. Slender them. And ended with
Slender them. That was fantastic.
Slender them was good. So it was good. But like, I wanted more. I was like, I could have had a full another 10 minutes of that. How long do you reckon they actually do? There was talk of 2 minutes in the practice run. Do you think that was a actual 2 minutes or?
I mean, if they got 2 minutes, we didn't get 2 minutes. I don't think that was 2 minutes of each, or
no,
like it felt like 30 seconds of each.
I get that editing's really important to keep the show moving, but like, I would like to just see it all.
Yeah. And I think this is a problem with Drag Race in general. Like, all the franchises often do this, where we want to see things for longer. We want to see all the actual process, but what they're actually showing us is something completely different. But it's definitely a Drag Race Down Under like staple is ripping things to shreds.
And I think it's also a Drag Race Down Under production thing where, because I know that Lazy said about Snatch Game that they filmed that whole thing. It was probably like 20 minutes max.
Yeah.
And then they, cut that down to 2 or 3. But I'm like, I feel like on the other versions, they've got more time to play with. So I feel like they do get longer. And then it's still cut down to the same time, but there's more for them to choose from. Do you think?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's what's happening here.
Yeah, I think. Unfortunately, if this franchise is going to improve on a production level, I feel like it just needs to start again from the ground up, and I feel like it needs a budget. I feel like it needs to come to Australia, get some Australian tax credits, and like get a bigger stage, get a longer production schedule. It's hard in an age of streaming. We don't get to see any numbers. We don't get to see any ratings. But surely, I feel like everybody
we did
watches
get
this.
some. We did get some data on this though. On the first episode or second or something, Stan put out that it was in the top 5 or something of their stream shows, because they do put that out. Like, you don't get numbers, but you get a ranking. And I don't believe I've seen the first 3 seasons ever in that spot. So that's telling me. And look, there's still no announcement around a potential season 5. So I think something could be in the works, but you're right. It's maybe they're at that point now where it's like, do we keep doing it here as is, or do we now change it up a bit?
I was on the show The 100 with Andy Lee. I was one of the faces on the big screen. And when you film it,
you're one of the 100.
Yeah, when you film it, you like kind of, while you're waiting for the show to start, you're just hearing the hosts. And just talk amongst themselves. And Rhys Nicolson was talking to the other hosts. He's like, I just filmed Drag Race Down Under. And they're like, oh, where did you shoot that? He's like, oh, New Zealand. Like, why? And he's like, oh. And he's like, oh, it's all to do with tax credits that the New Zealand government's giving us. Like, that's the only reason.
And there was hundreds of people on Zoom watching him. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Come on, Rhys. Amazing. All right, so we hit the runway. Category is Cape Fierce, which is that a pun I'm missing?
Yeah, it's a pun on the film Cape Fear with
of course.
De Niro, the Scorsese film.
This is why I need you here, Paul. I was just like, what? I thought she said Cape Pierce or something. I'm like, that sounds like a place. Maybe they're like, Yeah. Interesting. All right. So thanks for explaining that. Still
no worries.
But I did like this as a theme though. Fabulous.
Yeah. It hasn't been done before, has it? I can't recall a Kate.
Or on this one.
Or on any of the franchises.
They've definitely done a train.
They've done
There's
train.
Definitely been trains.
Well, that begs the question: what's the difference between a cape and a train? I guess a train has to be a certain length, or
well, train is an extension of a dress, whereas a cape I feel has to come from the shoulders. No,
I don't know. Any
it has to be around your.
Message us and let us know.
They will, don't you worry.
Yeah.
Lazy starts, and this is clever because she's gone superhero, but carpet woman or like rug lady, so good. Of course, she's gonna have a backstory. Of course, she's gonna have a concept, but then it also is quite beautiful. And shout out to a friend of ours, James Andrews or Jandrews, who made this look. It's actually really quite detailed and intricate.
Beautiful, but with that creativity and that humor that we expect from Lazy. Fantastic. And a special shout out to the backstory Instagram post where she has done it in the style of a 90s Saturday morning cartoon, and it looks exactly like one. And just love this. Love this.
She's literally pulling on the best creatives in Melbourne with all of that content. And I love that she's, brought the whole city along for the journey. She's really showcasing the talent that we have. And I'm beyond proud. But this look is so great. I love the detail of the cat at the back, the lazy pizza box, just it's dragging a carpet along behind her. Fucking give this bitch the crown already. Come on,
fantastic.
And then the actual look itself was like this royal blue couch kind of inspired plush look, but it had like the buttons and the little pieces. Stunning. Great work, James Andrews. Nikita Iman, this was like, I actually gasped. So beautiful because she's so stunning and she's looked great each week, but this is definitely the best look she's delivered, wouldn't you say? Like just in terms of like the scale of it and the design, she looks so stunning.
It's a really interesting take on bridal. I was trying to think of like if I could imagine a bride actually choosing this dress as their wedding dress with the very structured top. It was cool as fuck. Like a really cool bride would choose this as their wedding dress.
Yeah, and I love as well, like each time she's kind of had like pearls and white, like she's kind of got like a bit of a
through line,
consistent through line she has. But then this was just a more elevated version of kind of what she wore in those first few weeks. Stunning. Right. So this was kind of June, right? Like, but she didn't say that. She was like desert lady.
She's like a post-apocalyptic. The amount of fucking times queens have describe their looks as post-apocalyptic as just an excuse to have like dirty looking fabric on the runway.
Can we ban post-apocalyptic drag? I'm just
Yeah.
no. Like if I wanted that, I'd go and watch Dragula and I watch someone do it like with fuckloads of blood and like a cow fetus. Like I'm not here for dirty fabric and like a smoky eye because you know in the post-apocalyptic times, darling, we'll have smoky eye.
Yeah. And if you look at like, because obviously this was a play on Zendaya's look in the Dune movies, but if you look at how those costumes are constructed, the weight.
You're like,
those...
dude, I'm like, June.
But the weight of those costumes, like, there's a presence to them, and this just looked like the version that you'd buy at the costume shop.
I'm very sorry, Freya, because I love you and your son.
Love you, Freya.
So shit house. I thought it was so bland. Like, because I love this concept, really. Like, you could have done so much with it, but it was just very, like, bland. It needed accessories. It needed, like, a little prop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, those little, like, sandworm thingos. Perhaps.
Yeah, or, like, maybe, like, tattoos covering the neck up into the face, because some
like
of the
henna. Something like that would have been amazing. I love as well. She's like, it's a nod to my Middle Eastern heritage. I'm like, you realize the Dune world is like a different planet, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Nah. I think Freya's amazing, but this didn't do it for me. I'm sorry.
And then to have Michelle be like, oh my God, stunning. She brings it to you every ball. I was like, shut up, Michelle. Get a room already with Freya.
Yeah.
But so good. She's gonna do what she's gonna do. Moobs is up next, and this was so everyone killed it this week. I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was so good. I think this is the best look she's done, almost. Maybe besides the design challenge, but this big sexy devil headpiece.
Yeah, this looked expensive. It looked like dramatic. It had so much of Mandy's personality in it, with the kind of like S&M-y type dominatrixy devil, like, love. This is exactly what you want.
She told us she was going to bring kink into the fashion, and she did.
Yeah.
Every week. Yeah, and I just loved the headpiece because she normally, like, her wig progression has made me happy, but at the start of the season I was like, oh honey, I'm not loving these wigs. But like now we've got all this different stuff happening from Moobs and I'm just so obsessed.
Yeah.
Tens vibe looked gorgy. Very quintessentially vibe, clean and stunning. She said it was like a lionfish inspired thing, which I didn't quite get, but I guess it had like frilly flaps. And the silver color looks great on her. It
reminded me of something that like Kylie would wear at a concert. That was the vibe.
Totally.
The vibe of vibes.
The vibe of vibe.
Yeah.
Vibe is a bit Kylie, but then also, Kylie got swallowed by like a terrifying man.
That looks like Kim Jong-un, apparently.
I strangely understand that reference. So when she said that, I was like, oh yeah.
And now I'm upset she didn't do it for Snatch Game.
Oh, that would have been so good.
Yeah.
Maybe New Zealand doesn't want to get
bombed.
I don't know. Yeah. All right, we get some interesting crits here, as I've already jumped the gun to just Freya. What did she say? Freya, it's young, it's fresh, it's Freya. I'm like, it's a Dune costume shop. Look. Oh my God. Nikita, I loved Nikita being like, well, this is a little shout out to my boyfriend, honey, who needs to hurry up and put a ring on it. I thought that was great. Getting that in there twice, like in the confessional and then on the main stage. I'm like, okay, he's watching. Lazy, they just, of course, gagged every week, but this time particularly loved how pretty the look is. I thought it was clever, to wear a look like this with, some leg showing and stuff to show a bit of versatility.
Mm-hmm.
This is where Michelle also tells us she thought this was the strongest roast down under by far. And I was like, yeah, but I can't remember them doing it before.
Well, no, I don't know if she was talking about roast. I think she was saying this is the strongest
season.
Strongest top 5 that she's seen of any of the seasons that she's like been on recently. So I think she was I think she was lumping this in with like the American and UK seasons and saying that this is the strongest top 5. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's even more incredible then. And look, I have to agree. Like it's just there's just something really special going on this year.
Yeah.
Like everyone's got different strengths. You've got like an incredible seamstress, incredible comedic concept queen. You got the funniest bitch ever. Like there's just it's really working, this casting. Moobs says she doesn't quite. Well, she doesn't say it's very obvious she doesn't get what a roast is, right? Because she's like, I don't want to have to do this. And then I like Michelle was like, go and watch like Joan Rivers or
Pamela Anderson's roast. Yeah,
exactly. And I like that Michelle's like, it's not what you think it is. And bless Moobs' cotton socks because I think there is a nuance in this sort of humor, where it's with love. And this is ringing true for me because it's like, we've been poking fun at Moobs on this pod all season, and it's literally because we love her. Like, she is so funny, and I want her to be there, with everyone on that.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart that, she's a sensitive soul that I think perhaps hasn't got that kind of thick skin to understand when the jokes are actually with love.
Yeah.
Anita is like, your roast was like trying to give a drag queen a blowjob. It's just lots of layers to get through or whatever. I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah.
Vibe, tens. She kicked it in the dick this week.
Yeah, well deserved.
Yeah. Then, oh my God, so this was my favorite part of this episode when Michelle was like, so, and then, the lights go down. The question you've all been dreading, who should go home this week and why? And then Lazy is just like, oh, definitely Vibe. So good. And like Michelle's like,
yeah.
Can you imagine if RuPaul was there?
Yeah, because she goes, so if you were the judges, you'd send Vibe home, and
she's like,
Lazy's like, yeah.
And then Nikita doubles down, and they're like, who do you think, Nikita? And she's like, oh, definitely Lazy. Lazy and Nikita have this little thing. It's really funny. Like she's always going, this was so iconic. And then they're just like giggling. They're having so much fun. It's like the kids at school refusing to like take the teacher seriously.
Yeah,
it's so Aussie. I don't know. I'm really into it. And
Freya's upset
Michelle,
by it.
Yeah, Freya's like, oh, we're supposed to be, taking this seriously.
If mother asks you a question, you answer that question.
Yeah, you answer honestly. And I was like, calm down, Freya. But yeah, look, I get it. It's,
Well, the thing is about that question, it happens every season. It is purely there to create drama. There's no actual function to that question, except for upsetting people. So why shouldn't they give it back? I totally am here for them giving a bullshit answer.
It's great and they're having fun. I think Michelle was kind of into it, but I do not think RuPaul would have been. I think RuPaul would have shut the production down then and there. And left. I mean, these people do not care enough about this show. Yeah. But no, it was fucking funny. So good. But then, so Freya takes it seriously and says Nikita.
And
as does
Michelle
Moobs and
thanks her
Vibe.
for her honesty.
She's like, thank you so much for participating in the survey. So good. Over in Untucked, Nikita's bricking it, but still composed because you will not see her flap at any point. Lazy knows it's her and Vibe. They're the biggest competitors, I think, and they kind of know that. But it's like, don't you love they haven't done anything cunty to each other still? They're like, it's like a respect. I don't know.
Yeah, because they're letting their work speak for itself. They don't need to be cunty.
Exactly. I'm looking at you, Canada's Drag Race, with that comment. But anyway, Moobs is in her feels. This was not the fantasy she had for herself. She's like, which I was like, yeah, but you said you didn't even know what a roast was, so you can't be that surprised. But I guess it's more about she knows what's happening. She knows she's lip syncing, and it's like, yeah, she's just getting geared up for that, which makes sense. And then Nikita and Miv's like, oh, I guess it's the angel versus the devil, because Nikita's in all white and Miv's is dressed like a dominatrix devil whore. So it's And then Mandy goes, yeah, Nikita, it's going to be quite upsetting to see you go, which I was like, see, you can roast. Like, there you go. Then get back to the main stage. And obviously, no one's surprised here. Vibe and Lazy are in the top. I like that we did get this acknowledgement that Lazy was she missed out by like a hair, because they could have kept that out.
Yeah.
But having that in, I was like, thank you. As a viewer, I appreciate that you're not gaslighting me here any further. Actually, Lazy got a critique finally in the deliberation moment where they're like, Michelle says she's not the best with makeup, and I was like, finally we're getting.
What do you think about that?
Critique.
Do you agree?
I mean, I do and I don't. I think it like suits her style, and having seen her progress over the years, she's definitely gotten better. But like, it's not. She's no Lucina Innocence.
Yeah, but yeah, she doesn't need to be. Like, yeah, it serves what she is serving.
I assume they're saying positive and negative things about all of them at all times for options, right?
Yeah.
So I think they just chose to put that in this week so that we don't feel, we need to throw things at the screen when she doesn't win.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, good to hear that. Like, yeah, there's some genuine critique coming through as well. I love they love Mandy, even though they know she didn't get the roast right. And I'm like, yeah, that's correct. So Vibe is the winner. Congratulations, very well deserved. And she doesn't have to share it with someone this time. Imagine if she did, she would have fucking cut a bitch.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. But yeah.
They should have done a gag like, and also you'll be sharing it. And she would have been like, whoa. So good. So Lazy and Freya are safe, which is correct. And Nikita and Moobs have to lip sync, and this was tough because I genuinely had no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah,
because Nikita is obviously such a good performer, but then if we're going on like track record, it's Moobs. What did you think was going to happen at this point?
Yeah, I felt that it was definitely going to be Nikita to go, just purely based on the looks that Moobs has been serving all season. Like. But then again, if we're taking this as like, it is supposed to be a lip sync for your life. So whoever does that the best is supposed to be the winner. I don't know how often that is actually the case, but totally. But like Nikita was talking a big game of what she was about to serve in this lip sync. I don't know if that actually happened or not. It just seemed around the stage.
That's just her, isn't it? She's just like, I am going to eat this bitch, honey. Like she's so confident. If you could bottle that shit, like, I would take some. And then we get searching, looking for love. Do you love this song?
I love when this show actually embraces actual gay culture from Australia, like when it did Jackie as a lip sync song, and I think I'd put this on the same level. Like the Young Divas as an entity was created purely for the gays, for the Australian gays. Like put Ricky Lee and all these people in a girl group, and they're only singing dance versions of 70s disco ballads. Like it's like they put gay in a bottle and just like
they're still wheeling Jackie Joanne out at circuit. Every now and then she'll just rock up and do that song, and everyone goes, like I love that.
Young Divas was iconic. I still listen to this album. I think it is an iconic part of Australian gay culture, and it's so good that like the whole world gets to experience it, because I'm sure they've heard the original in America. I don't know if they're playing the Young Divas versions in the club.
I don't know about that. Michelle Visage was living for this song. When they that was my favorite bit of this lip sync, when they cut to her and she was like she's playing this all the time, but it does track, like it's very kind of trashy British pop music vibe, this song. It's got a bit of a Girls Aloud thing about it, so it's like that tracks for Michelle.
I wonder if the Young Divas did travel, like did they resonate anywhere else but here, or are they just an us thing?
I don't think they did, but who knows?
If any of the international listeners can enlighten us
it was a bit of a rotating lineup, wasn't it?
Well, there was two albums, and the second one had a slightly different lineup. Yeah.
Who did they boot?
I can't. Didn't one of them like hit someone with a car, or maybe I'm misremembering
that. They had to stop the Young Divas because someone was killed in a tragic car accident. Oh boy. Nikita did quite well. I thought she slayed, but the Moobs came out, and you can't who's competing with the Moobs?
Yeah. No, I definitely think that Mandy was the stronger of the two. Like, and again, like the editing, like they were definitely focusing on Mandy a lot more. I felt.
Mm-hmm. And those Moobs. I mean, we've been waiting to see them all season. So,
do you think they qualify as Moobs?
I mean, they're attached to Mandy, so I guess I love Lazy's confessional. She's like, here they are, like, you know, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the Moobs themselves. So that was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was just so good. This episode was fantastic, like start to finish. Very happy, very happy. And next week it's the finale.
Yeah. Who do you think?
I mean,
it's got to be
it'll be very strange to me if Lacey doesn't win. But also, I mean, I'm hearing, it's funny, a few friends have messaged me this week, and also Chili Philly said it as well on the pod earlier in the season about, I don't think they'll give it to Lazy because they want to keep Lazy for like a international spin-off. And I'm like,
no,
I don't know if it's that calculated, to be honest. I don't know if there's that. I don't know if the WoW people are talking to the Stan people, are talking, you know?
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
Also, like, winning Australia or winning Down Under is the equivalent of losing an American season. So you could still put her on All Stars and no one's going to be like, this is bullshit.
Well, maybe, I mean, I would love if they did like the Vivian style thing. And just put her on US All Stars. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, I don't think there's any hard and fast rules of what she can or can't do because she won or not.
Rules. Exactly.
So
I think people are overthinking it, but I think it's this, and this is the cute part of it. I think people are freaking out because they think if she wins, that's the end, and everyone wants more. And I reckon she will win, and then we will get more somehow. I saw this week she's already on the lineup for DragCon UK next year. So like, yeah, I think she's smart. She'll
I
fucking make
think
something
I
happen.
think I see something beyond Drag Race. I think they could give her like a super conceptual TV show. Like
these Saturday morning lazy clips we're getting.
Yeah. There was actually a Netflix series based around that whole thing of like skewering like the concept of a Saturday morning like cheese TV type show, and with all these like fucked up cartoons, but also the interstitials where live action bits where all these weird things were happening. Like put her in something like that. Like
I could see her getting that.
Yeah, I think that Drag Race is constricting. Like let her be free and do something fucking crazy.
True, but I also would like to see her compete on another season of Drag Race with that production level, in the same way that we got to see Queen Kong shine, Anaconda, Anita Woodgett to a lesser extent. But like, having them, I always love it when they get to like, go over to like a real Drag Race show, and then you're like, oh, see, they look good now.
Yeah,
like I feel like if she had that opportunity, she would not mess it up, and it would be a force.
Yeah, I just hope
we've already decided.
Yeah, I just hope if she does make it to an international season, that it's something better than Global All Stars, because that was a train wreck. I'd like to see her in something actually good that deserves her.
You don't think we could have a surprise Moobs win? You're not Team Moobs? Hashtag Team Moobs?
It's viable lazy at this point.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I'm really stoked for the Brisbane girlies though. Getting that far, like they fucking deserve to be there at the end, I think. Obviously Michelle wants to fuck Freya, so there's that. But
look, if I think it's a correct top, maybe I would have swapped out Freya for Brenda. And I think a lot of people feel the same way, that Brenda was taken out way before she should have been, and probably deserved this spot. But I think I'm still happy with this final group. I think it's a strong group.
You're right. I would have loved Nikita in the top, just because she's absolutely stolen my heart. But like, they all fucking did. Like, what a season. Paul Mizzi, thank you so much for joining me.
It's been a pleasure.
To talk about this. I also believe we have a very exciting special episode in the works for our listeners over Christmas.
Yeah, any recently divorced dog lovers are gonna really be over the moon with this episode.
So stay tuned for that. I've got you covered over the Christmas break. Don't you worry. There'll be some surprises in your stocking, so watch out for that. But until then,
thank you for listening to The Cringe is Real with me, Sam Cremian. If you would like to support the show, rate, review, share, and tell your friends about it. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter. Links are in the show notes.